Local 3 Sports with Jake Durant.
In the 1920s, Babe Ruth had become a household name after helping lead the New York Yankees to multiple World Series appearances. In the sports world, nothing is more American than baseball, and with the 4th of July, we thought this was the perfect time to take a look back at when the baseball legend made a trip to the UP. Our Jake Durant has more.
Iron Mountain is a hidden gem in the Upper Peninsula. Small in size, the town has an enormous sports history. It was on a brisk fall day almost a century ago, maybe the town's most prominent sports moment took place.
There was lots of buzz in the local press. Businesses were informed that they could close for the afternoon of this event. Local schools were closed, took a half a day just for this event. And people came from, not just Iron Mountain, but from all over the Upper Peninsula to see this spectacle.
In just a few minutes, one of baseball's biggest household names would be arriving. The player's name was George Herman Ruth, better known as Babe Ruth.
He was very well known, a figure in baseball by this point in 1926. I think people are familiar with the nickname he got, the Sultan of SWAT. That was a nickname given to him years before this. So he was quite well established in baseball, quite well known.
Ruth was fresh off an appearance in the 1926 World Series. Despite a strong showing, Ruth and the New York Yankees fell in the 7-game series to the St. Louis Cardinals 4-3.
He had actually played in 4 of the previous 6 World Series, so Babe Ruth and the Yankees, where they had won a couple of them. This was kind of common for celebrities in baseball, for playing exhibition games throughout the country in rural areas of the country that might not, or would get very excited from a celebrity like this coming to town. Some people were initially skeptical that this was actually going to take place, if he'd actually come up here, and but the more promotion that was that revolved around this event, I think people started to kind of think, oh, this is actually going to happen. And it was for a community like Iron Mountain, this iron mining town of maybe 9,000 people at this time, having somebody like Babe Ruth come to the community was a big deal.
So what brought Babe Ruth to Iron Mountain?
Just 10 days after the 1926 World Series, a couple of local promoters in Iron Mountain approached Babe Ruth's agent to get him to come up to Iron Mountain to play a game. And one of the promoters was George Ziegelbauer. He owned a local grocery store. The other was Ned Fox, who was a local Iron Mountain manufacturer and distributor.
After some back and forth negotiations, an agreement was in place.
So they came up with some funds. It's unclear of how much funds were required to get Babe Ruth to come to Iron Mountain, but they approached him and made an agreement where Babe Ruth would come on October 28th to Iron Mountain and play a game.
The exact amount is still a mystery, but 8 days later, Ruth was en route to the Upper Peninsula.
They secured funds for Babe Ruth to come, but otherwise, they kind of set out word that, hey, we're looking for Upper Peninsula baseball players. They weren't going to get paid, but they could have the opportunity to meet Babe Ruth and play with Babe Ruth. So that was kind of incentive enough for a lot of the local baseball players to come, and they did. They came from all over the Upper Peninsula to participate, and the idea was to basically create 2 teams out of these Upper Peninsula All-Stars where they would actually play a game and Babe Ruth would participate.
The game took place on Iron Mountain's athletic field, which today is known as Iron Mountain High School's Mountaineer Stadium.
When Babe came up and the game kind of started, it started as more of a kind of like a home run derby where Babe Ruth would just hit fly balls into the field. After sort of a home run derby atmosphere, teams kind of organized, and I guess you could call it a game, but it wasn't really a game. Babe Ruth kind of went to the plate every inning, to have the community of 3,000 people attending this kind of witness Babe at the plate.
It became apparent early that the UP All-Stars were not intimidated by Ruth's presence.
The first couple of times he went up to the plate, he was actually struck out.
This photo of Ruth and a local baseball player has become famous, coinciding with the event.
Nello Fungo Tedeschi was one of the ones who struck him out. So that picture that you're referring to is kind of him standing next to Babe Ruth. So these were some pretty serious baseball players. Tom Jones also struck him out, I believe, in the third inning of that game. And this was drawing some boos from the crowd. They wanted to see Babe hit, home runs. And so there was actually some boos. And by the seventh inning of the game, it kind of finished as more of a home run derby again, where he would shower the people in the outfield with home runs.
Nearly 100 years later, Ruth's legacy lives on in Iron Mountain, not only for his presence at the plate, but for connecting with the community.
I've not seen records of him specifically talking about the experience of playing at Iron Mountain, although most of the reporting of that event, kind of had him as being very, very one of the people. I mean, he blended in well with the audience. He didn't have an air of being above other people. So in all respects, he enjoyed the crowd, signed autographed baseballs after the game and before the game. And really, they had a dinner. The Lions Club hosted a dinner after the game where he attended and signed some balls, autographed some baseballs for charity events. So I don't have a record of him specifically, but in all respects that I've read, he was very comfortable with the crowd and the people and enjoyed his experience.